What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and in today's video we're going to be giving our first impressions and our 24-hour overview of Omega Rugal. More importantly, EX Omega Rugal to be specific. But before we go ahead and get into today's video, make sure if you guys haven't already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe. Now let's just go ahead and get into it. So of course we did pull for Omega Rugal in yesterday's video. If you guys did not see that, link will be in the description. It is very painful. However, when it comes to playing this character is not painful at all. In fact, playing with this character is very, very nice. So when it comes to Omega Rugal and kind of my first impressions here, I feel like my first impressions are going to be pretty darn cemented when it comes to giving my final thoughts on this character, because to be honest with you guys, it's pretty obvious what we've got in this character. Even with mine being at A3, I feel like I can pretty much tell you exactly where this guy is going to slot into the meta and just where he's going to rank by the end of everything. So let's just go ahead and talk about it. So in my opinion, Omega Rugal, the EX variant of this character, is definitely going to be a top 2 character in the game. However, there is going to be a very heated debate within the community on which is better, Devil Jin or Omega Rugal, right? Now, I'm going to tell you guys right now, in my opinion, and I am going to have a little bit of footage in today's video, even with a really sloppy build on this character, you're going to see some pretty nutty numbers for this guy, even at A3 with an improper build, right? But before we get into that footage, as far as the comparison to Devil Jin, I do not think that this guy is going to be leapfrogging Devil Jin in the meta as far as being the best overall character in the game right now, right? I think that this guy is going to slot in at number 2. Now, he does do certain things better than Devil Jin, I will give him that. However, the problem with this character versus Devil Jin, if you really want to get into that debate, which I don't think is really all that necessary to begin with, because honestly, you guys, you're basically talking about 2 different brands of rocket launchers with these guys, right? Because honestly, they're both absolute nukes. It just comes down to what it is you prefer, right? But when it comes to Devil Jin, what really sets him apart, and the reason why I do not believe in any way, shape, or form that this character is going to be in any way leapfrogged by this guy, is because of this EX skill. This EX skill here is just game-changing. It's game-breaking. It's the best EX skill in the game. It's the best skill in the game, period, in my opinion. And honestly, with this thing here being on Devil Jin and not on the Omega Rugal kit, that right there alone sets this guy apart in a huge way. And I don't think that that is a knock on Omega Rugal whatsoever, because Omega Rugal, being the number 2 character in the game behind what is legitimately at this point just an uber broken character, and I mean, it is what it is, right? So I did mention that he actually does a few things better than Devil Jin, so I want to talk about those things real quickly. The first thing I need to talk about that really sticks out to me about this character is going to be his heal. This heal is the best heal mechanic in the game, period, end of story. There is not a better heal mechanic in this game right now. Absolutely the most broken heal mechanic in the game. This right here basically translates to every 30 seconds, if you drop down to 2% HP, or what is it? It's 1% HP, my apologies, then you're basically getting a full heal. I mean, that's all it boils down to. So that right there is just stupid. It's absolutely stupid, and it means that this character doesn't need to worry about his survivability in a lot of different game modes. Specifically, if you take him into Tower of Trials, level 90, this guy is going to be able to do extremely well there as long as you time things specifically and make sure that you constantly can have that ready to go. This guy's going to do great. Now, with this character as well, other things about him that really set him apart, in my opinion, and make him just a monster, is going to be the fact that he's going to have so many interrupts, right? If you take a look here, you're going to notice he has an interrupt on pretty much all of his skills. So that right there is something that sets him apart and makes him very tricky. This is a character that is very unga boonga, we'll put it that way. He's going to be going all over the place. He's constantly going to be moving. He's never going to be a character that's easy to pin down, and this is going to make him a lot of fun to play, right? Other things about him that are really just kind of crazy are the S1. This 80% chance to decrease this Desperate Ray is just stupid. I mean, you're basically going to be able to, it's kind of like what we've seen in the past with characters like Dark Ash and other characters of their ilk where they're going to be able to have this for a full 3.5 seconds and just go to town with that same skill over and over again. It's specifically funny if you hold the button down while this is active. It's kind of crazy. But this right here, I don't believe is better than Devil Jin's version because his ray goes straight across, and this one starts low and goes high and has kind of a little bit of a ground aura to it. So I don't necessarily think it's better than that one, which is very, very similar. And to be honest, and I'm not trying to be unfair to anybody here, but I do think that the comparisons to Devil Jin are warranted. If you really take a look at their kits, they're so asimilar. They're so similar in what they're doing, right? And I think that Netmarble's really tipped their hat on what it is that they're planning on doing with the meta going forward. I think we've moved away from the explosion meta, and now we're getting into this kind of critical hit physical damage meta where things are just kind of going nuts right now when it comes to power creep because of it. And so you're going to start seeing the next threshold of power creep with these types of characters. So with that being said, though, I do prefer Devil Jin's S1, but this S1 is still incredibly strong. And again, this character is doing things differently from Devil Jin than what Devil Jin is doing. However, they are fair to compare because they are very similar. Other things with this character that really make him stand out to me is going to be the fact that he has so many options for finishers. This character has so many finishers. I actually personally prefer the dead mount press. So if we take a look here, the dead mount press, and when it comes to the comparison with these two finishers, right? Dead mount press versus Dread Fatal Wave, both of them are very similar moves, right? Because what you're basically getting as far as time frame there is pretty much almost exactly the same, like very little variance. So you can kind of just pick whatever you prefer. If you prefer to go with the effect that you're going to get on this one that gives you that 12% power for the Dread Fatal Wave, go for it. But the reason why I prefer this one is, one, I love this skill in general. I've told you guys that before from KOF 15, but the recovery of the HP by 8% when using it, it's just more survivability. I find that to be more important. So if you guys are wondering, I did go in, and you probably saw my rubies there, I did go in and just use up the rest of my rubies to go to another pity on the card banner after playing a bunch of the new content to collect some more rubies and get enough to go there. I'm not going to post that footage. I'm just going to tell you guys, I ended up getting the set finally because of my pity tickets. All the way to that next pity, all I got were 2 more of the option cards in the same multi, which really upset me because I needed Duolan's finisher, and then I ended up with another copy of the 3rd card of this set. Not even joking. So yeah, thanks to my pity tickets, I was able to get Duolan's finisher, I was able to get his finisher, and I was able to finish this up. But unfortunately, my luck on that card banner was so bad that I don't feel comfortable posting the footage because honestly, it was a very potty mouth TBR, we'll put it that way. So you guys will just have to deal with it. So that's what I've got. I do have that now. I just wanted you guys to know. So that's why my rubies are gone and yada yada. So with that being said, guys, I do prefer this one just for the effect, but it's up to you, honestly. At the end of the day, like I said, when it comes to the length of these, they're very, very similar. And yes, Dead Mount Press does work on Omega Rugal Guild Raid, so you don't have to worry about that. So when it comes to other things here, I do have this build as far as the stones. This is just your basic EX Volume 5 stones. I don't have anything else here right now. Eventually I will swap something out, maybe. I do have this guy here, the Star Stone for the Temporal Mystery Stone, and then this is just a placeholder here for attack stats. I'll swap that out if I get something better here soon, hopefully. Maybe even that Moonstone for the Temporal Mystery, but I don't know if I'm going to end up being able to get that or not. I might just have to go back in on a banner at some point. I would like to build him more. You guys know he's one of my favorite characters in the King of Fighters, but unfortunately, right now, I just don't feel comfortable buying anything. I've already done enough. So with that being said, though, this character is going to be incredible for a lot of different things. And when you see this guild raid run, do realize that with this run, what is important to note is this run was recorded before I had transcended any of these cards, which, mind you, none of these transcendental effects that I have right now are good for him. They're all going to be just trash, to be honest with you. So don't worry about that. These things are not good for him at all. So like Starlight damage, and then defensive fighters. And then what's this one? Defense? Yeah, defensive fighters. So yeah, he's clearly not a defensive fighter, right? This one here, I believe, is balance type fighter Starlight. Like, see, I didn't get lucky on any of these. And then more Starlight. So yeah, if he had Starlight, that'd be great. But this was recorded, what you will see, this guild raid run, before I transcended any of those also. So you're not going to have that on there. And it was also before I put this on here for stats. So this Moonstone is also not part of that. So that score is with a very minimal build, put it that way. So keep that in mind. So overall, guys, I think Omega Rugal is going to be a hard number 2 character in the game right now. I really, really do. I think Omega Rugal is going to be right behind Devil Jin. And that is fine, because he is not that far behind Devil Jin. If he had that double concentration, I think that he would be above Devil Jin, potentially. The problem is he doesn't have it, therefore that is something that does hold him back. His EX skills in general leave a little bit to be desired as far as what he has available to him. So it doesn't really kind of, I don't know. He has concentrate. He has regular concentrate, which that right there is good. But at the same time, the double concentrate really is just special because it almost replaces awakening, and that is something entirely different, right? So that is something to keep in mind. But at the end of the day, I do think that if you fully max this character out, fully invested in this character, you would get comparable numbers. You wouldn't be getting the same numbers. Again, I do not think that he's going to outdo Devil Jin in any way, shape, or form, especially since Devil Jin actually does benefit from some of these new stones as well that come out with this new volume. But I do think that if you missed out on Devil Jin, this is the next best bet. I think that this is probably an indication of where the meta is heading now. We pretty much have confirmation of where we're going. And yeah, the next meta step is kind of crazy to me, because Devil Jin and Omega Rugal, and maybe even Duolon, who I haven't had a whole lot of time to play with yet, I will say these top 2 characters in the meta right now are far and away better than the rest of the meta. So it's very interesting to see. And I guess I shouldn't leave Hwoarang out of there either. So let's talk about EX Hwoarang in there too. I think EX Hwoarang is also in the conversation, but I prefer this guy right here. So I would put EX Hwoarang, if we're just talking pure damage, I'd put him pure damage and pure performance. I'd put him at like number 3. That would be where I would put Hwoarang right now, only because he does have the stance change mechanic, which is a little wonky by comparison to a character that has just a straight up kit like this guy and can just output that much more damage. I personally prefer him, but that's just me. So honestly, you guys, if you are considering pulling for this guy, that's what you're getting into. You're getting one of the top 2 characters in the game right now. He might eventually prove to be, with the right build, better than a character like Devil Jin, but I think I'm comfortable in saying right now he's probably just going to be a number 2, but a very close number 2, and a number 2 that honestly, that if you're number 2 to God at this point, like, it is what it is, right? So anyway, you guys, that's my opinion on Omega Rugal so far in the limited testing that I've had with him. You guys let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this character. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe on your way out. Enjoy the footage, and until the next one, I will talk to you guys later. Peace.
opinion.